Hey, hello everyone. I'm Seal Stanford, and we're going to talk about mindsets and the principles that you need to have in order to control your mind. You know, a lot of times we find ourselves just having a lot of chaos in our thoughts. It's pretty common. I know that I've experienced a lot of that myself. And, I've been in the coaching and training business full time since 2004, and I've seen it among most students, just a lot of uh, chaos and not being able to control your thoughts. So the first step, the first principle is you have to get bigger than your mind, not be immersed in all of those thoughts. You have to develop the ability to be outside your mind. And the way you do that is, first of all, practicing mind control. Okay. And the way you practice mind control is something that you've all heard me talk about, but it's that ability to be present and be here in the moment and to be right here. Because if you're immersed in your thoughts, you're really not here. You're over there with all your thoughts versus being in this moment. You're in the moment with the thoughts. So, in order to control your mind and the chaos that we have going on a lot of times, when we run into stuff we don't understand, or when we run into things that we're not able to control or to change, and when we're wanting to manifest what we want, basically, you need to get present. And that is how you get bigger than your mind. And you practice that, and it causes you to be outside your mind where you can actually inspect your thoughts. Okay. And you're not being run by your thoughts. You're not being controlled by your thoughts. So that's the step two. First is be bigger than your mind. Two is do a daily practice where you practice being here in the moment. Practice being present. And so you can do that in three different ways. You can set yourself in front of a mirror, then set your timer on your clock for 1 minute and just look at yourself in the mirror and just do that for 1 minute and just practice being there in the moment. At first, you may notice that you have a lot of thoughts. That's okay. Just let those thoughts go. And the more present you will be and that you practice this, the more space that you'll have in between your thoughts, and they will slow down and they will become less and less until the mind quietens and you've got mind control. Another way you can do this exercise is if you don't want to sit in front of the mirror, you can just sit down in a comfortable chair or on the sofa just by yourself. Pick your favorite place. You could go outside, but pick your favorite place and just set the timer on your clock for 1 minute and just practice being present with yourself. That is mind control. That is being outside your thoughts. The third and most optimum way you could do this is grab someone in your home and ask them first, but ask them if they would be willing to do this exercise with you and tell them you just need 1 minute of their time. And you want to sit down and put two chairs together facing each other, leave about 6 inches between your knees and just set the clock for 1 minute. Just practice without talking, looking at that person. You guys will be looking at each other. Make that person the most important person in your space for 1 minute and just focus on them. That's mind control. So that's the most optimum way. The next little exercise I'm going to give you is an additional process in order to control your mind. So when you have a thought that's really tying up your attention, and it's something that you don't want to think, we usually fight with those. I know that when I have a thought I don't want to have, I fight with it, I resist it. But the best way to handle it is just spot, where is the thought? Is it in your mind? Is it out here in front of you? Look at how big it is, and then inspect the mood level that thought has. It may have several mood levels. You see, when you start resisting something, it really, really, really persists. So the best way to handle your thoughts is don't beat yourself up for them. just observe them, do presence, and then locate where the thought is, how big it is, and what are its mood levels. And that will get you outside of your thoughts, outside of your mind, so you can observe them and you're in control. You know, one of the things about thoughts, a lot of the thoughts I've shared with you in other videos is that, some of our thoughts are not our own thoughts, right? And our thoughts need to be inspected. So I was thinking about, what could I share with you guys on thoughts? What kind of story would really, really relate to you all? And so, when I was really, really young, before I really knew anything about money, I knew that we weren't rich. I really didn't know how much lack or scarcity there was, but I knew that money was an issue. Let me just say that. And I'm talking little, probably before 8 years old, 9 years old. But the viewpoints that I had around money was that, you know, some people had it and some people didn't. So I thought the way to get money was that you had to be born into a family with it. I thought that that's the way people had money, really and truly. And what I was judging that on was my father, because my father worked really, really hard. And I mean, like really hard, 3 jobs the whole entire year. And from sun up, well, he was up before the sun was up, and then to sundown, in daylight saving time. So he's a farmer and he drove a school bus and he drove the bus in the summer for the summer kids, summer school kids. And then he also worked at a small store equivalent to Home Depot in the wintertime after the crops were laid by. So those thoughts, I formed the thoughts that, hey, you know, um, you don't get, you don't have money by working hard. And because you can work really, really hard and still not have money. So anyway, as a small child, before I learned anything about money, what my viewpoint was, people born with, you were either born with it or you were born without it. And I just happened to be born with one that didn't have a lot of it. So um, that carried forward, into my future until I started learning that, hey, there's a lot of successful actions that goes into having money, a lot of good investments, a lot of great investments with your time. But I share that with you because you need the ability to be able to inspect your thoughts, how big they are, their moods, where is the thought? And along with that, a lot of times you'll see that those thoughts aren't even yours or they're not correct. So with that, check out the principles, try the exercises and see, and post how much better are you doing being outside of your mind and being